Hey guys, welcome back as always. My name is Leyzar and this video has been a long time coming. Honestly, I've been wanting to do this one for such a long while, but unfortunately various events kinda kept me from it. Now, we're not gonna be reinventing the wheel necessarily. If you heard of Thermal Sunder Harrow before, then you know exactly what I mean. But for those of you that don't, oh, this one is gonna be a treat. Because normally Harrow is seen and is, by all intents and purposes, as a support. But with the right build and the help of the Helminth system, Harrow transforms into an AoE damage god that can easily, and I repeat, easily full house clear ESO, Hydron, Setna, and so on and so forth. And to tell you more, I got my friend Sober667 to lay it down. Hello, Sobre.
Hi. First thing we need to do is replace one of the Harrow's ability with Thermal Sunder. For that, we're gonna head to our trusty Helminth segment and look for Thermal Sunder.
Now, if you say Thermal Sunder, that means that you already need to have Gauss put into the Helminth segment, correct? Because if not, you're not going to be getting Thermal Sunder, therefore you cannot make this build. Now, tell me, which ability should I replace? Should I replace my first one, my fourth one? Which should I go for?
Third one is one which we focus on, so we should not touch that one.
We're not touching the third one, gotcha, not touching the first, so that's 1, 2, or 3, which one?
Preferably first one, because it provides small amount of CC relatively, which we're gonna have plenty of with Thermal Sunder.
So essentially we're replacing Harrow's first ability with Thermal Sunder. Can you give us a bit more detail on Thermal Sunder and how it actually functions? How are we gonna exploit this ability to clear house?
Thermal Sunder is tricky ability. It has two parts to it. First one, when you tap ability, you deal AoE cold damage and proc cold in area of 12 meters baseline, leaving cold damage over time, while when you hold ability, you deal heat damage in area of 12 meters, proccing heat status effect on enemies, and again leaving area of effect dealing heat damage.
Fantastic. Now I see here, directly from the modded screen, that heat is going to be doing a lot more damage than cold. So my assumption is that we're going to try to get as much heat damage as our targets as possible, correct?
That is correct, yes.
But in order to get to the heat damage, by default one needs to hold the ability in place for 2 seconds in order to get the second effect, right? So that's how Thermal Sunder works, right? You tap it once, you get the cold damage. You keep it pressed down, you get the heat damage. But what we're gonna wanna do is essentially get as much as that heat damage on our targets as possible. And to make it easier, to make the DPS and the whole gameplay smoother, what you wanna do is go to options. A lot of people don't know this trick. It's something that you can employ to a lot of abilities. Straight up to keyboard and mouse you go, or your controller in your case. Invert, tap, hold abilities. You go to Gauss, yes, because this is Gauss's abilities, not Harrow's, and you select inverted. And now when you tap, you get the heat damage. When you hold, you get the cold damage. It's absolutely bloody sensational. Now one more thing, like Sober explained earlier, you're going to be getting that damage on your targets with a forced proc, yes, either a cold or a heat one, but when you combine them, you get blast damage on your targets, which can help you with a little bit of crowd control. So you can combine the two, you can mix and match. That's how that one works. Now the next ability which I want you guys to understand how it functions is Harrow's free ability, the amazing Thurible, because Thurible is the reason why we're using Thermal Sunder on Harrow and not anybody else.
When you cast Thurible, it will start draining your energy till you cancel ability or run out of energy, which then gonna cast Aura for base duration of 35 seconds, which grants you and all your allies energy per kill you do. How much energy? Well, it depends on your ability power, on how much energy you sacrifice during challenge. Equation is kind of complicated. Let's say it's gonna be way more than 50 energy per kill.
So essentially, per kill, I'm gonna be able to grant a whole lot of energy to my entire party, not just myself, as long as they're in range. And the actual amount of energy which I grant back is gonna be dependent on two factors, right? So primarily two factors: power strength, how much power strength you have in your build, and second, for how long have you casted Thurible for, or better said, how much energy you sacrificed in that cast. Now, if you guys want to know the exact equation, you can have a look over on the wiki. But for now, I think it's best we show you how the build actually functions. Let's go to ESO. Now the first thing you want to do as soon as you hit up a mission, especially Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, is Thurible, my friends. Thurible like your life depends on it, because it just might very well depend on it. Now I know what you're gonna say, dude, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, I'm starting with no energy, what am I gonna do? And I can't put a pad down. Well, thankfully to the recent changes of Harrow, his passive now allows you to start with full energy, and we got about 400 something. Now, when you get past over 50, it's good enough. Keep in mind to keep some of that energy for your Thermal Sunder, and then, my friends, clap! Clap like your life depends on it, because it doesn't. At this point, you're absolutely clearing house with great ease. Now, what I will recommend, however, is try to alternate between the heat damage of your clap and, of course, the cold damage, because that way is how you add crowd control to your targets, and that boosts your survivability. Because let's be honest, Harrow is not exactly the most tankiest frame in the game, but with brief respite and using shield gating to our advantage, that should be a non-issue, especially for ESO. When your Thurible is about to run out, take a look at it, right? Keep in mind that with each and every single kill right now, I'm getting like 58 energy, not a problem. I'm just gonna re-Thurible. When I get over 50, 60, that's usually more than enough to absolutely annihilate whatever stands before you, or getting your energy back. Boom, done, and I'm a clap. Boom! Look at the energy in the right-hand side of the screen. Look at the energy per kill just going up. It's absolutely bloody insane. Got a problem with survivability? Never forget to alternate those fantastic elements so you can get some blast damage on your targets. The very rare occasion that blast damage is good, that is crowd control. Now, nullifiers are a problem, I'm not gonna lie. So just hit them with something like the miter and the augment for the miter. I usually use the Ignis Rave simply because I am lazy. And you can absolutely annihilate nullifier bubbles. You don't need to kill the nullifier itself necessarily, but you do need to get rid of the stupid bubble. Now, look at that, low on Thurible again. I'm a re-Thurible. If you want to make this build a bit more comfortable in execution, you might want to do something like increasing the duration so the Thurible lasts longer. Honestly, I don't think it's needed. 40 something seconds, more than enough. Keep in mind that you have 4 active DPS damage zones by using your Thermal Sunder. Now the passive damage isn't all that big, but still more than enough. You want to get some healing on? No problem. Activate Harrow's second ability. Among the myriad of buffs like fire rate, reload speed, it gives you... Does it give fire rate, Sober? Because I forgot if the second one gives fire rate.
Yes, it does.
Fire rate, reload speed, but it also gives you healing. But not just you, my friends, your entire party. So you see, this build is hella amazing. But let's say, dude, I'm in trouble, I'm about to die, what am I gonna do? Have you forgotten your Harrow? You press 4. You press 4 and you transform everybody into an immune god, which is absolutely bloody fantastic. Now, we've been using this build for quite some time now for stuff like Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, Hydron Sedna, and not only. And it should be said, it definitely has its limitations. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. For example, one of the bigger issues is survivability, even for somebody that can go invulnerable from time to time. So always bear in mind, integrating something like Rolling Guard, for example, it's gonna help you a whole lot because you can cast Thurible while actually rolling, which is absolutely fantastic. Don't forget to activate your second ability to get some healing on as well. Crowd control by combining the 2 elements and forming blast damage. But most of your damage, as before, is gonna be coming from stacking those heat procs. As you can see, kill after absolutely giant, beautifully kill. And that's essentially how the build works. Now, let's talk a bit more about modding. Starting from the top, let's talk about the all-important aura. We would recommend you go with Brief Respite. Now, some of you don't really use this aura, but you can use it to your advantage. Keep on rolling into shield gating. Absolutely bloody fantastic damage mitigation. And let's be honest, you do need a bit more survivability at times. Now, if you're a damage nut and you can't get enough, see, instead of nut, you could have replaced it with the W word and then it would have rhymed. I'm sorry. Anyway, corrosive projection is the damage option. If you really must have corrosive projection on bloody everything, then you can go for something like this. Minus 18% armor. Honestly, I would recommend you stick with Brief Respite. Now, we tested a couple, which is why we have an Aura Forma. You don't need an Aura Forma necessarily. You can simply use the one for Brief Respite.
Next, we're gonna focus on the range. We're gonna have pretty much all the range mods between Overextended, Stretch, and Augur Reach.
Now that's a whole lot of range. Oh my god, we're talking about 265%. Now it's not necessarily all the range in the world. If you want a little bit more, you can mod for Cunning Drift, which will give you another 15% ability range. But you're sacrificing Power Drift with 15% ability strength and that 30% chance to resist knockdown, which honestly, I came to really love. Now tell me, Sober, why are we modding for so much power strength?
Power strength gives us damage, and on top of that gives us energy because of our turbo. More power we have, more energy we get per kill. On top of that, in the same vein, we have prime flow. Because we get bigger pool of energy, then turbo can sacrifice more energy, therefore even more energy for our Thermal Sunder. Next up, prime continuity. It's partially to counteract transient fortitude negative and to increase that duration so we don't need to channel our turbo as often. And here is an interesting mod. Arcane Vitality gives us health, which is important for our survivability, but more important, it doubles our hit procs, which is really big part of our damage.
Because essentially most of your damage, again, is coming from Thermal Sunder, but from the heat of Thermal Sunder. Keep in mind that inverted trick when it comes to actual usability. Now, finally, Arcanes. Tell me about Energize and tell me about Aegis.
Arcane Aegis gives us a bit more survivability.
Fantastic. And what about Arcane Energize? Honestly, this one is pretty self-explained, right? You get yourself some energy back. Now, instead of Aegis, another option would be something like Armor, Arcane Guardian. Obviously, these options will fall flat on their face when it comes to super high levels. I'm talking about levels in the thousands, so you can cater at least one Arcane to your weapon. And now that's pretty much it to the build. Now what I would like to add to all of this is that again survivability is the issue here. So what I do sometimes when I feel like damn it, I'm just not surviving good enough, or I just want to chill because you know what, I can be arsed to jump around all the time and avoid bullets and all whatnot. Who does that in Warframe anymore? Anyway, what you can go for is rolling of the guard. Now I know I mentioned that one before, but I'll mention it one more time. You can actually cast your free and keep on rolling with rolling guard. If not, you have another fantastic mod that Warframe players absolutely love, and the name is Adapt Inurtation. You can go for something like this to further increase your survivability. Now one more time, how's about a gameplay demonstration? And you know what, let's boost some people in good old-fashioned Hydron. One more time, I Thurible like a goddamn madman, 75 energy, and now I clap, and the targets fall behind me, in front of me, to the side of me, but essentially everywhere, my friends. Look at that. Look how simple that is. This reminds me of the 4-build 4 phase, that sound Warframe, not the OP one, not Octavia, the other one.
Banshee.
Banshee. Once upon a time, my friends, we would make 4 Banshee builds. And when I mean 4 Banshee builds, all she had to do was spam 4. The problem with her is that every time she spammed 4, she would keep going forward. So you plant her face neatly against the wall and toggle a 4 macro. And that's all you had to do to clear this beautiful, beautiful, absolutely horrible looking place. Because let's be honest, everybody's goddamn sick and tired of Hydron Sedna. But that's not the point. What is the point? This absolutely outstanding build, my friends. And as you can see, I Thurible with the best of them, I roll with the best of them, and I get my energy back. Honestly, past 50, 60, more than enough. I can stop and keep on spamming. When it comes to Hydron Senta, since these targets, let's be honest, at least at the very start, they're super weak, I don't even bother in making the elemental combo. I don't even bother of using the 2 sides of your Thermal Sunder. I just keep on piling on the heat damage, and I'm absolutely murdering whatever stands before me. Honestly, look at this. Look at this! It's nuts, it's insane, it's beautiful, it's Thermal Sunder Harrow. Once a support, now an absolutely godsend when it comes to AoE damage. Now let's be honest here for just a second. Obviously this is not the most powerful AoE frame in the game, far from it. What Thermal Sunder Harrow is something a little bit different for you to do. Are you tired of bloody Sarin all the time? Or Equinox, or whatever else meta AoE frame? Harrow, which is an amazing frame that deserves more recognition, more popularity, and more appreciation. Now you can do a little bit something different with him. And let's be honest here, I know you fantastic people love to deal damage, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, it's all about the damage, and this is a way you can achieve that. And I do believe, my friends, I'm done. That's pretty much it. We're done. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, my name has been Leyzar. This is my friend Sober. We hope that this was interesting to you. We hope you learned something, and we hope you get a little bit of fun with Thermal Sunder Harrow. Until next time, my friends, you can also catch us on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And one last shameless plug, because I got a shameless in the plug. If you know, you get what. Anyway, if you love the content and you want to keep helping us or help us keep making it, consider supporting us via Patreon. Link in the cards right now. And that's it. We're done. Say bye-bye, Sobre. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Over to the Helminth segment. I'm over here. And what are we going to do at the Helminth segment?
We're gonna replace one of ability.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's fine. Don't worry about it.